Hello there. I am on this fine day to talk to you a little bit about the shoulder. Not that this may have a ton to do with balance at first light, but really it does. I wanted to share with you a little bit about the rotator cuff, which can be injured many ways, and falling is one of them. One of the risks of falling is throwing our arms out in front of us, where we can actually fracture our wrist, a Colles fracture, just instinctively throwing our arms out, or the way we land, where we can actually tear the rotator cuff. So before I even start with the rehab for that, I want to explain to you what the rotator cuff is, because I don't think a lot of people realize. It's rotator, meaning it rotates, and it is a cuff, C-U-F-F. So what you need to know is that the rotator cuff are 4 muscles, tiny little muscles, not your bigger delts. I'm doing this today because I'm wearing a sleeveless outfit, so I thought it'd be easier for you to see. Most people know about your bicep, okay, your tricep, and then we have 3 deltoid muscles, and those are the bigger ones. Upper trap that does this. But there are 4 little rotator cuff muscles that come into play, and they are the stabilizers of the shoulder. The shoulder is a ball and a socket joint, meaning that the humerus bone here comes up into a ball, and then the shoulder blade is the socket. So posture makes a big difference on how our shoulder moves. When I slump, which I do a lot of, I cannot raise my arm up as high because my shoulder blade is in such a position that whenever my arm bone goes to move, they smack up against one another. When, however, I bring myself up nice and straight, the shoulder blade is in the right position to let the arm do its motion and rotate in the socket. So posture is important for so many reasons, right? The rotator cuff 4 muscles, what it does, what they do, is that they keep the humeral head, the top part of this bone, in the proper place in the socket of your shoulder blade. So if you have torn one or more of those muscles, either partially or completely, then the ball of the socket will, the ball of the humerus will rise up into the socket, and you go to move your arm and it hurts, or you can't do it at all, depending on the severity of the tear. So that's another thing you need to know. There are 4 muscles there. You can partially tear one or more and still function quite well without surgery. You may completely rupture and have to have surgery. If you can't lift your arm up and you have to bring your shoulder blade up and do a whole bunch of this stuff, then you might more likely need to have surgery. All up to your surgeon, of course, but I tell you this because we want to protect this. And falling is a great way to tear the rotator cuff, even if it's just sitting down too hard. You know, when you catch yourself with your arms, that can be a problem for the rotator cuff, even if it's just a strain, which is also possible. You don't have to tear a rotator cuff to have a rotator cuff problem. You can get inflammation of it, you can strain it, and then it causes issues for you. So I really wanted you to know what the rotator cuff is. As far as rehab is concerned, you can strengthen the remaining fibers that have not been torn, and then the other muscles to compensate so that you can have good function, even if it's not perfect, and hopefully avoid surgery. For the purpose of this channel, which right now we've been focusing so much on balance, I wanted to bring the body into it, getting your body in balance, because I want to make sure that you protect this and that you really work on some of the things we've been talking about, and even strengthening your legs so that when you get down and up from a chair, you're not bearing the brunt of your body weight on your arms and therefore wreaking havoc on your shoulder. So rotator cuff, 4 muscles, helps to keep the ball of your humeral bone in the socket so that you can move appropriately so you can reach comfortably the way you need to get dressed, to tuck your shirt in for toileting, for bathing, for doing your hair, all those things. All right, now you know. How many of you knew what the rotator cuff was? Little sidebar, we hear rotary cup, we hear all sorts of terms. It is the rotator cuff, C-U-F-F, and hopefully you know a little bit more about it now than you did before. and you will work on strengthening your legs using those sit-to-stand techniques in the previous video to try to get your legs stronger so that you can protect it, so that dressing independent function is preserved for you. Hope you found that helpful. Have a great day.